Have you ever stopped to think about how incredibly weird it is that countries, for the most part, get along? I mean, really think about it. We have nearly 200 of them. Their own rules, their own ideas, their own histories. It seems like it should be total chaos, a constant free-for-all where everyone is just looking out for themselves. So why isn't it? Why do countries talk to each other, make agreements, and even help each other out when things get tough? This is one of the biggest and most important questions about our world. The answer is that nations, just like people, have figured out that working together is usually a much better idea than going it alone. This whole idea of cooperation isn't just a happy accident. It's a system. A very big, very complicated, and sometimes very messy system that has been built up over hundreds of years. Imagine trying to play a game with hundreds of players but with no rules. It would be a disaster, right? Countries realized this a long time ago. They needed a rule book, a way to interact with each other that was predictable and, hopefully, fair. This is the foundation of how our modern world operates, a grand experiment in getting along on a global scale. So, the big secret is that countries choose to work together because it benefits them. It's a bit like being in a group project at school. Sure, you could try to do everything by yourself, but it's a lot harder, and the final result probably won't be as good. When countries cooperate, they can solve problems that are too big for any single nation to handle. No single country, no matter how powerful, can build a wall high enough to keep those problems out. They have to talk, they have to plan, and they have to act together. It's a choice for collaboration over chaos. So, let's put a name to this giant planet-sized group project. It's called the Global Interstate System. Inter just means between, so it's literally the system that exists between states or countries. This isn't a single government that tells every country what to do. That would be a world government, which is a totally different and much more science fiction-y idea. Instead, the interstate system is a collection of rules, agreements, organizations that countries have created over time to manage their relationships. It's the agreed-upon way of doing things so that everyone knows what to expect from each other on the world stage. The most famous part of this system is the United Nations, or the UN. The UN is like the world's biggest meeting hall. It's a place where countries can come together to talk about their problems instead of immediately fighting over them. They make resolutions on everything from keeping the peace to protecting the environment and fighting poverty. The UN also has many smaller parts, like the World Health Organization, which helps fight diseases globally, and UNICEF, which works to help children around the world. But the system is much more than just the UN. It also includes international laws and treaties. A treaty is just a formal agreement between countries. For example, there's a treaty about how to treat prisoners of war, known as the Geneva Conventions. There are also treaties about trade, like the agreements that create the World Trade Organization. So, how does this all work in practice? Imagine your country wants to sell bananas to another country. The interstate system makes this possible and safe. Trade agreements, shipping laws, banking agreements. All these invisible rules work behind the scenes to make simple international trade happen smoothly. It's the essential plumbing of our world. Now, let's talk about a word you've definitely heard before: globalization. Globalization is the process of the world becoming more connected and interdependent. It's the shrinking of the globe. Distance and borders matter less and less. It's driven by huge improvements in technology. Think airplanes, the internet, giant container ships, and the political choices countries make to open themselves up. It turns the interstate system from rules into a living, changing network. This isn't new. Think of the ancient Silk Road connecting Europe and Asia. In the last 50 years, the speed and scale have exploded. Messages that took months now take a fraction of a second. So what does globalization do? Economically, it makes things more efficient. Parts made in one country, assembled in another, sold everywhere. Your smartphone, designed in California, chips from Taiwan, assembled in China. That global supply chain can make products cheaper for you. Globalization also moves people, tourism, work, education, and ideas, movies, music, fashion, political movements. The effects of this on your everyday life are everywhere, even if you don't notice them. The coffee you drank this morning. The beans were probably grown in Colombia or Ethiopia. The shirt you're wearing. The cotton might have come from India and been stitched in Bangladesh. The movie you watched last night? It was likely made in Hollywood but seen by people in almost every country on Earth. Globalization is the reason you can eat a pineapple in the middle of winter, listen to music from South Korea, and have friends on the other side of the planet. It has fundamentally reshaped our world and our lives. So, we have this big system of rules called the interstate system and this powerful force of connection called globalization. Why should you care? Because these two things together are the operating system of the 21st century world. They shape the opportunities you have, the problems you face, and the way you see yourself and your place on this planet. Understanding them is like understanding the rules of the game you're playing every single day. They determine the price of your food, the quality of the air you breathe, and the safety of your world. The interstate system, for all its flaws, is what stands between order and global chaos. It provides the forums for diplomacy that can prevent wars. When a natural disaster strikes, this system is how other nations coordinate to send aid, food, medicine, rescue teams. When a new disease appears, organizations like the World Health Organization use this network to share information, track the spread, develop responses. It's an imperfect system, run by humans with competing interests, but it's our best tool for tackling challenges too big for any one nation. At the same time, globalization has changed our cultural and economic landscape. It has lifted millions out of poverty by creating jobs in developing countries and given consumers access to a huge variety of goods and services. It has also allowed for an amazing exchange of cultures. You can learn yoga via video call with an instructor in India, practice a language with a native speaker on an app, and share your ideas with a global audience on social media. It has expanded our horizons far beyond the town or city we were born in. In the end, these systems matter because we all live on one planet. The world's problems are our problems, and its successes are our successes. Understanding how countries work together isn't just interesting. It's essential for being an informed and engaged global citizen. And that's pretty awesome.